Hello and welcome. I'm Pratap Singh. You're joining us on this special interview on NewsX. We are in conversation with a star who needs no introduction. He's all set to mesmerize you and be seen in a never-before-seen avatar in the GOAT life. I'm talking about Prithviraj Sukumaran. Welcome, Prithvi. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Really, you know, the praise has already started. The film has not even released yet. So many songs have not released, but already the praise has started from Prabhas to Javed Jafri to, of course, fans online. Everyone is mesmerized by your look. So firstly, the response to the trailer and, you know, the first looks that people have seen.
It's been truly gratifying that whatever we have put out there, people have loved. Because it's, every film has its own effort behind it. Every film is a journey, but this one has been a bit of a journey, to say the least. You know, I said yes to this film in 2008, 2009, and it took Blessy and me 10 years till 2018 to finally get this off the floors. Because the vision that Blessy had for this film was practically impossible to pull off from Malyalam back in 2008. So during those 10 years, I think the industry itself changed. The dynamics, the revenue streams, everything sort of evolved to a point where it was still a big risk, but it was now thinkable. And that's how we finally started shoot in 2018. And then the pandemic struck and we had to suspend shoot for a year and a half in between. But we never gave up. We went back to Algeria, we went back to Jordan a second time. And finally in 2022, we finished shooting, and then it was a year and a half long post-production schedule. And finally here we are. So, you know, to be traveling with a film for 16 years, 17 years, is that's a part of your life. You know, when I said yes to this film, I wasn't married. Of course, I wasn't a father. I had not turned producer. I had not turned director. So all these different phases of evolution of my personal life as well. You know, all through those days, those years, one constant has been this one film. And so on the 28th of March, many things culminate for me. And it's just not one film. So
it's like adulthood for a baby that
exactly.
you've been following through all these years.
You're right.
Well, many people refer to you as the GOAT, but now if we talk about the GOAT life, you know, at that time, what was your reason for signing it? As you said, now it's been part of your journey for so many years. You know, the look is so different, and now, of course, it's being appreciated. But what was your first thought behind signing it? So, Blessy or the producers came to you?
So, I don't know if you know this, but this is a true story.
Okay.
So, this is something that actually happened to someone. Najib in GOAT Life is a real life character who's still amongst us and well and, you know, alive and well. And incredible is the fact that he lived through this experience to be able to tell us the tale. So, when Najib came back and, you know, how the world got to know of his story is a writer, a very, you know, one of the most followed writers in Malyalam, Benjamin, who's a story writer, actually met Najib and decided to write a book on his life called Aadujeevitham, which to date remains one of the largest selling books in the history of Malayalam. Even back in 2008, 2009, the book had been launched and it was a smash hit. And everyone was talking about that book and everyone was talking about Najib and his life. And I personally know that multiple filmmakers across the country, not just Malayalam, were thinking of wanting to make a feature film out of this story. But as fate would have it, it was Blessy, the director of this film, who managed to get the rights. And Blessy thought I should be the one doing this. Blessy, back then, as is now, is one of the most coveted filmmakers in Malayalam. Multiple national award winner. Has made some amazing films in his career. And a Blessy film is a box that pretty much every actor in Malayalam wanted to and wants to tick off. So it was a no-brainer. I mean, there was no, the idea behind saying yes to this film was not even something I thought of. You know, Blessy came to me and he said he wants to do this dream film of his and he wants me to be in it. I'm like, But I knew even back then that saying yes to this film would mean a significant amount of investment from my side, not just in terms of time, but also to put my body through something, you know, the actual transformation of the character that I had to be going through. I was aware of it. I was aware of it, and when I said yes to it, I knew that I'm going to be taking up this challenge. And I did. And I also knew that when the announcement was made that I am doing RDG with him, I'm sure pretty much every actor would have been jealous of me.
Yeah.
You know, because this is like that once in a lifetime role. True. So I decided that I'm not going to give anyone a reason to be thinking that they could have done it better.
Yes. As I said, you are the GOAT, which is why you're the GOAT. But you know, how taxing was it? You know, to be acing this part, the emotional journey, of course, living through Najib's ordeal, and also then the look. You know, having that look right as well, because a lot of it is about the look, and I'm sure so much must have gone into makeup and perhaps prosthetics and all of that.
Yeah. So how we approached the film was, we decided that I'm going to put on a lot of weight, so that the eventual transformation looks all the more drastic. So you will also see the heaviest version of me in this film. During, you know, when you so the flashback of who he was and what he used to do back home and what he left behind, that story comes to you as, you know, small pieces of flashbacks through the narrative in the first half. So during those pieces in the film, you will see a really overweight me, and we have also filmed it in a way to show the fact that I have a paunch and all that. So I put on a lot of weight, and then we went to Jordan, and we shot what we now refer to as the fat desert schedule. You know, till the point where he reaches there and he realizes that he's stuck. And then you break the narrative at one point, and then you meet this man about 3 months later, or a few months later. That's the second phase of the character. And then that's the phase you see behind you. So that's the second phase of the character, for which I had to lose, like, I think back then about 10 kilos. 10 to 12 kilos for that. And I had to grow my hair and beard to the extent you're seeing right now. Then the narrative breaks at one point, and then you see him 3 years later. Where he's completely emaciated. He has this long beard, overgrown nails, and long hair. And he develops a lot of physical attributes like a nervous twitch, and so his leg gets broken, and then obviously there is no way to fix it. So his ankle bone sort of mends itself in a disfigured fashion. So his gait is different. So you see him in that. So there's a lot of thought process behind how are we going to approach this, how are we going to film this, how are we going to schedule the filming. And of course the makeup department, we had a genius of a makeup man called Ranjit Ambadi. So it was a joint team effort. And we were very keen on making sure that we also try and shoot it right, in the sense, shooting in the deserts largely means that you try and capture the correct time of the day for the correct scene of the film. So if a scene had to be shot at sunrise, the actual sunrise light would be for about 20 minutes. There are scenes in the film that happen during sunrise that we have shot for 20 minutes every early morning across 25 days. You know, there are scenes at dusk that we have. This was shot at dusk actually. There are scenes at dusk that we have shot for that half an hour of actual dusk just before sunset across 30 days. You know, so there's a lot of academic, almost clerical planning behind this. So yeah, it was just one of those experiences that, you know, as an actor,
for all the viewers who think it's a cushy job, it's a glamorous job, it's an enjoyable job. Look at this. This is the labor that goes in to every project and every role.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many. Like, say for example, there is a shot in the teaser of the film, trailer of the film, where you see a reflection of my character in the eye of a camel. So that actually came about quite organically. So there's a scene in the film where I finally bid farewell to all the animals that I've been taking care of, because I've decided I'm going to leave. And so I give the camels their feed for one last time. And we are doing this shot of me with the camera behind the camel, where I'm telling the camels that you know, I'm leaving and I'm not going to come back. And for some reason, the camel in frame suddenly stopped eating and stood up and looked at me. Like he's heard some shocking news of information. And the director just Blessy suddenly said, wow, I would love to get that from the opposite angle. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, you would love to get a reaction from the camel? He said, yeah. So obviously, you know, you can't talk to a camel and get it to act. And we were shooting that scene at around 5:15, 5:30 in the evening.
Okay.
So we switched the camera. Obviously, the camel wouldn't do it. For the next 8 or 9 days, every day, whatever we were doing at around 4:30, we would stop.
Yeah.
We would go back to that place.
An attempt.
Yeah, keep the camera and try and cajole the camel into coming into that position. Finally, we got that shot.
Wow.
And that is how the entire film has been made.
Yeah.
Every single moment in the film that you see, that's how it's been made.
Amazing.
And I don't know how many films you can do like that. I don't know how many films as an actor you get to live, you get to be part of, that's been made with such attention to detail and it's such a labor of love.
As you said, that's why it's not a film, it's a journey
Yeah.
for you. Also, another aspect, A.R. Rahman,
Oh,
Resul
yeah,
Pukuti, working with them, having them on board for this project, how much do you believe it adds to the international scale of it as well?
So, one of the first names that Blessy and me discussed once we shook hands and decided we are doing this film is Mr. A.R. Rahman. And back then in 2009, 2010, we had no idea how we get to him. He made his debut in Malyalam. I don't know how many people know this.
Oh, okay.
A.R. Rahman sir's first film is in Malyalam. But that was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And then he's never done a Malayalam film. He then became the global superstar that he is today. And when we decided that we want to try and take this film to him, we didn't even know how to get to him because at that point I think he was working out of Los Angeles.
Okay.
He had a studio in London and he was doing a lot of Hollywood films. But finally we managed to get to Rahman sir. And that is where you realize what true genius is all about, It took one narration, about half an hour, for Rahman sir to suddenly understand that something very special is being made. He said something very he understood what we are trying to do and he said, I'm doing this film. And we didn't know if we could be able to, we are going to be able to afford Rahman sir, we are going to be able to get him to invest that kind of time. And you won't believe this, Rahman sir is one of the busiest music composers in the world and he's not someone who just does Indian cinema. The kind of time he's invested in this film, he told us he wants to come and see the place we are filming in. He came to Jordan. He spent 4 days on the sets with us. Wow. He recorded the sounds of the animals, the desert, the wind and everything. And he came there and he felt when he was sitting inside our set, the Masara set, he felt like he wanted to do one more song. And he did another song for the film. Then he was scoring the film, he was re-recording the film and he suddenly decided I want to do a song about hope. I want to do a song about hope because this film makes me feel that way. Yeah. And there's this hope song that he's just done. And my God, I mean, for someone like him to be so influenced with a film that's been made, I think there is no bigger certificate for the film.
No, that's his belief in the project, I think.
Yeah, and I actually, few days back, we had the audio launch. On the 10th, we had the audio launch of this film in Cochin. And I was finishing a shoot in Los Angeles and I was on my way back from the US. So I had a connection in Dubai. So when I walked into the aircraft in Dubai, I realized the seat next to me, Rahman sir was sitting. Oh. And the first thing was, I was seeing him after a long time. So the first thing I told him is, sir, I so wish, the songs now you've all heard, but the background score, I told him, I so wish I could listen to that when I was acting, because he's made music like a character. The thing is, this is not a very verbose film at all. Large chunks of the film only have the sounds of the desert and silence and the animals and this one man in his solitude. And there is nothing that is being said. So pretty much there's a camera on my face and we decided I didn't want to convey stuff by performing, it's not like what is happening inside him. I'm just trying to feel that and I'm hoping and praying it gets across to the people. Yeah. But what Rahman sir has done, the layer that he's added is just amazing. He's just done magic to this. Same with Rasul. We decided so this is all very aspirational, right? When you think of a film like this, you want to try and get the best talent in the world. And obviously, Rasul is one of the finest sound designers the world has right now. Again, that is, when at that caliber of genius, I think people sort of also have the faculty of spotting a very special film. And he immediately said he wants to do it. in sound, in terms of sound designing, it's a very challenging film to do because what is there in the desert? There is wind and nothing. There is just wind. The wind creates different noises, you know. I remember asking Blessy, the director, one evening. One evening after shoot, sometimes in Vadiram there is this giant blood moon, this red moon, and we drove out into the desert to sit there and look at the moon, and the wind was making a strange kind of noise that evening. And I asked him, how do we get this across in the film? You know, that the wind makes different noises at different times of the day. You won't believe this. After we shot the film, during post-production, Rasool Pukuti and his team have spent days and days and nights in the middle of the desert, capturing different noises the wind makes.
Amazing.
Yeah, he actually did this. Yeah. He actually did this, and it's in the film. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That just shows, as I said, their belief in the project as well. And as I said, it's not just raising the scale in India, but internationally. All right, we can spend all day, time is limited, but we can spend all day talking about the film because so many different aspects are there. Prithviraj actually dubbed 4 times for this film, so I'm sure revisiting the film 4 different times for you. I think the crew also got stuck, in Jordan as well. So it was really irony, real meets real in a bit.
Yes.
But final question to you, before we let you go, just now the IPL is coming very soon, and after every match, after every cricket match that happens during the tournament, there's an award given, which is called Game Changer of the Match.
Okay.
Now for you, I'm sure this project is going to be a game changer. We certainly hope that this March, end of March, it's releasing on the 28th, audiences. So keep that date in mind. But for you, looking back in your career, which do you believe have been 1 or 2 projects so far that have been game changers for you?
So in retrospective, I would definitely think my first film, because I wasn't somebody who wanted to become an actor. I became an actor by accident. So I think the fact that I did that one film, that first film, is not just a film for me. It gave my life a direction. It made me realize this is what I want to do, which is very important. Not everybody is lucky enough or privileged enough to have that opportunity presented to them, and through that opportunity make them realize that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life. So I belong to a small group of very lucky people who have been blessed to be able to do that. Then if I had to pick one, it is this film. It is this film because I don't know if I will ever get to live through an experience of making a film like this again. And I don't know how many actors in their lifetime, the entirety of it, would have had this experience of making a film like this through so many years and living with the film for so long, and finally sitting here and talking about it, days prior to its release. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And there's a lot for fans, of course. There's the Goat Life finally releasing, and there's also Bade Miyan Chote Miyan.
Yes.
So they'll see you in Hindi as well.
Yes, the Bade Miyan Chote Miyan is releasing on Eid. And I think it's just wonderful that these 2 films are coming back to back, because as an actor, I really couldn't have picked 2 more diametrically opposite characters. So if at all you wanted a 2-film resume of Prithviraj as an actor, this is a great 2-film pick.
Versatility at its best. All right, thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best. As I said, it's really been a passionate project, labor of love, like a child for you over these years. So let's certainly hope now the audiences give blessing to their child. बच्चा बड़ा हो रहा है तो अब आपके सपोर्ट की आवश्यकता है. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.